Eala's explosive rise has forced the Indian Wells tournament organizers to completely overhaul their crowd management strategy, and the secondary ticket market has struggled to stabilize ever since. The BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells did not include Eala in the initial draw, yet her presence has effectively transformed the entire event. Eala has added Indian Wells to the list of must-attend tour stops, and the entire tennis world is now watching the unprecedented levels of support she commands there. Look at what happened in Australia. Court 6 had lines stretching for what felt like miles. I know I'm exaggerating slightly, but the scenes were absolutely wild. It was chaos in the best possible way. Can you recall any other women's tennis star who generates this kind of devoted following no matter where she plays? Yeah, well, Taylor Swift for sure. Laughter. On March 4, 2026, tournament organizers at Indian Wells made a public announcement that no WTA 1000 event had ever needed to make before. For a player ranked just 31st in the world, the Eala effect had grown so powerful that it was overwhelming their practice courts. Fans were not even waiting for match days. Filipino communities from all across California, a state home to nearly 2 million Filipinos, the largest such population in the United States, were already packing every training session long before a single competitive ball was struck. Not the finals, not even the semifinals, these were practice sessions drawing massive crowds. Meanwhile, analysts such as those at Pro Tennis Stories 360 were reporting a frenzy in the secondary ticket market, with demand for early round matches surging far beyond anything previously expected. One question quickly became impossible to ignore. How did one player from the Philippines manage to turn the WTA's biggest North American swing into a virtual sellout before the draw had even been released? The answer traces back to March 26, 2025. Eala stepped onto the court at the 2025 Miami Open as a wild card ranked world number 140. Her opponent was world number 2, Iga Swiatek, the most dominant force in women's tennis at that time. What unfolded was not merely an upset, it was a masterclass. Eala's left-handed serve, consistently hitting around 90 mph on first serves and 75 mph on second serves, created awkward angles that forced Swiatek into committing 32 unforced errors while Eala made only 12. On break points, Eala converted an astonishing 8 out of 10, an 80% success rate. The final score was 6-7-5 in favor of the young Filipino. That single victory earned her $332,160 in prize money, nearly double the total amount she had made in her entire professional career up to that point. Her rankings skyrocketed 65 places in 1 week, jumping from 140 to 75. This result secured her entry into Grand Slam main draws, accelerated sponsorship discussions, and prompted the WTA's commercial infrastructure to begin recalculating her true market value. You know, I'd have to say there's maybe a little bit of Sania Mirza in her heyday. Obviously, the Indian fans supported her passionately and followed her all around the globe. But not to this extent, and I think the ceiling for Eala is clearly much higher. And I'm going to bring in a boxing analogy here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. Manny Pacquiao, good call. When Manny Pacquiao was at the absolute peak of his career alongside Roger Federer, he actually earned more prize money than the tennis legend at one point. So if Eala keeps performing at this level on the court, who knows? The sky is truly the limit both on the court and off it. She could be absolutely rolling in it, if you will. Yet that one breakthrough win in Miami alone does not fully explain what later happened to the ticket markets in Dubai nearly a year afterward. To grasp the full picture, you have to understand what analysts now refer to as the portable home court advantage. While most elite athletes enjoy support in just one home city, Eala carries the equivalent of a home crowd with her to virtually every tournament. With approximately 1 million overseas Filipino workers in Dubai and nearly 2 million Filipinos living in California, she brings massive, passionate support to almost every stop on the WTA's 2026 Middle East and North American schedule. At the 2026 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships, this effect translated directly into measurable financial impact. Official tickets started at 65 dirhams, roughly $17.70. That was the entry-level price. Then on February 17, Eala defeated world number 8 and reigning Dubai champion Jasmine Paolini with a score of 6-1, 7-6. She mounted a comeback from a 5-6 deficit in the second set tiebreak. Multiple players and experts described the atmosphere inside that stadium as unlike anything ever witnessed at a WTA 1000 event. The secondary market reacted immediately, with significant resale premiums appearing on tickets for Eala's quarterfinal sessions. What began as a 65 dirham face value quickly became just a starting point rather than a ceiling for many buyers. It was around this time that fellow players began openly acknowledging what the data had already revealed. "She's got a smile that lights up a room too," one said. "And I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, she did it with a lot of grace and humility. It was really terrific to see her take that match and then watch her continue to progress because I like her game. Obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now, ranked around 32 in the world, but she's got really good hand-eye coordination and the ability to take the ball early and redirect it." The fan support is always fascinating, especially when players from smaller countries break through. "Whenever you see players from smaller countries reach the top, the fans are so passionate," another player noted. Ally also referenced Sania Mirza, who amassed nearly 13 million followers on Instagram. That's 5 million more than Carlos Alcaraz and almost as many as Alcaraz and Arina Sabalenka combined. That shows just how big Sania was, is, and will remain in the sport. But now Alex Eala was about to be seeded for the first time at a WTA 1000 event. The draw revealed she would face world number 4 Coco Gauff in the second round. Gauff, who had defeated Eala 6-0, 6-2 in the Dubai quarterfinals, publicly thanked her for bringing an entirely new demographic to the sport. Think about that, a top 5 player openly acknowledging that the opponent she had just dominated 6-0 in the first set was achieving something for the WTA's commercial reach that her own high-level results had not accomplished. Jessica Pegula went even further, specifically praising Eala's unique ability to pack stadiums. These were not casual compliments between friends, they were candid market assessments delivered by the sport's elite during post-match press conferences. The WTA's institutional response was equally telling. The organization announced the creation of the inaugural Philippine Women's Open 125 event scheduled for January 2026. Prior to Eala's rise, the Philippines had never hosted a WTA-level tournament in its history. The Eala effect had produced one in less than a single calendar year following the Miami upset. Here, what the hard numbers confirm and what much of the mainstream coverage continues to overlook. In 2025, Alex Eala was the most searched Philippine female personality according to Google's Year in Search. She ranked 4th among all sports figures searched within the Philippines, behind only major international basketball and boxing events. A pre-tournament press conference for the 2026 Australian Open drew more than 170,000 views on YouTube. Highlight reels titled "Alexandra Eala Greatness" reached 254,000 views, while tiebreak highlights from the 2025 US Open accumulated 1.2 million views. By early 2026, Eala's Instagram following had grown to approximately 850,000 followers, positioning her as one of the most followed players on the entire WTA Tour outside the top 10, despite a ranking that, until February 23, 2026, had never cracked the top 30. On that date, she became the highest-ranked Filipino player in WTA history at world number 31. Yet perhaps the most revealing data point isn't any ticket price or viewership statistic. In September 2025, a report went viral claiming that Wilson Sporting Goods had offered Alex Eala a staggering $45 million endorsement deal, which she had reportedly accepted. Fact-checking organizations investigated and found the story to be entirely fabricated. There was no deal, no official statement from Wilson, and no confirmation from Eala's team. Nevertheless, the story spread rapidly because public perception of her commercial value had already far outpaced the reality of her signed contracts. Her actual sponsorship portfolio is legitimate and expanding. She's been with Nike for over 5 years, and her portrait now hangs at Nike World Headquarters in Oregon alongside the brand's greatest icons. She also represents Globe Telecom, a partnership that began when she was only 8 years old, Bank of the Philippine Islands, and local brands such as Juices. But the $45 million hoax itself serves as a powerful signal. The gap between her current verified deals and what millions of fans worldwide believe her true market ceiling to be had grown so large that a completely false story felt entirely believable. As of March 3, 2026, Alex Eala received a first-round bye at Indian Wells as the 31st seed. With 2026 prize money earnings already at $291,992, analysts project she's on track for the best financial year of her career, potentially surpassing $1 million in prize money if she maintains a top 35 ranking throughout the Grand Slam season. Broadcast rights analysts are already forecasting a significant revaluation of WTA television and streaming rights in both the Philippines and the Middle East, driven directly by the surging viewership numbers tied to her matches. The sticker shock controversy surrounding secondary market prices, which have completely detached from official face values, has become the defining feature at every tournament she enters. Somewhere within the 2026 Indian Wells bracket, a potential third-round rematch against Coco Gauff is already being highlighted by the same analysts who monitored the Dubai ticket surge. So here is the question that nobody in professional tennis has yet been able to answer. If the Alex Eala effect continues to drive secondary market surges, broadcast rights revaluations, and major institutional responses from the WTA at this remarkable pace, what exactly will happen the day she reaches a Grand Slam final? Although,